Hey everybody, getting straight into things. I recently had some people in chat the other day asking for some beginner tips for people just starting out on Tarkov. So I decided to make a quick video today on my top 5 most important tips for becoming a Chad quickly on Tarkov. By the way, if you enjoy the video, please consider dropping a like and subscribing. I'm trying to reach my goal of being monetized before I graduate here in May. I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. I'd like to think I'm a veteran player on Tarkov starting all the way back in 2019, and I have thousands of hours and years of experience on the game, so if I could only share 5 tips, these are going to be my top 5. Let's get into it. Alright, to start off with, the most important is map knowledge and repositioning during your fights and your raids. Map knowledge is essential for all players, new or advanced. Being aware of high tier loot areas, common rotations, rat spots, quest areas, extracts, and spawns are all important to making it out of your raid. Being aware of these places will allow you to move around them or rotate into them depending on your confidence and goal for that raid. If you're questing, it's probably a better idea to stay away from most of these areas to avoid PvP, but if you're confident and want to get into the action, you're going to want to know where to find the combat. In Tarkov, you don't need to have insane mechanics like aim or movement to be successful in your raids. If I was just starting to learn Tarkov again, I would learn 1 to 2 maps and learn them very well. Learn where all the extracts, spawns, loot areas, quest zones, etc. on only 1 to 2 maps. I would suggest customs and woods starting out because the majority of beginning game tasks are on those maps and they're relatively small, making them easier to learn. Moving on to the second most important tip, which is movement. Knowing when to sprint and utilizing all the movement mechanics in the game. Before inertia, Tarkov was a lot more fast paced and you could W key a lot easier. Ever since the inertia and weight change, PvP in Tarkov has changed completely. The only way you will do well in your raids is if you take your time and move tactically. Be patient and utilize as much time as needed. Talking more in depth about movement, you don't want to run around the map constantly. You only want to run when you're moving through an open area or need to get away quickly. Sound in Tarkov is one of the biggest advantages you can give yourself. Players will be less likely to hear you from far away if you're not running, and you'll be more likely to catch them off guard. Make sure to utilize all the movement in the game. You can slowly lean from left to right by holding Alt and pressing A or D. You can be prone by pressing X. You can adjust your character movement by using the scroll wheel. You can even sidestep real quick to get info or take a shot using Alt E or Q. These little mechanics are underutilized, and if you're able to use them effectively, they'll benefit you greatly. Right hand peeks are my third most important skill to master on Tarkov. If you've ever played a shooter game before, you know that right hand peeks are a massive advantage. In Tarkov, they're just as important. Here's an example of me looking at a player with a right hand peek versus what he sees. This isn't something that's difficult to do, it's just a matter of remembering to utilize right hand peeks during fights. The fourth tip on my list is looting. Learning the value of a barter item to traders and on the flea market is crucial for maximizing your profits. Knowing what armor, ammo, and gun attachments are worth keeping, these skills will develop on their own naturally with playtime on Tarkov. I've died so many times because I could not loot fast enough. Something you should do right now is go to your Tarkov, go to settings, go to controls, and scroll all the way to the bottom and rebind discard to something that is comfortable for you. I personally use my side mouse button and it has made all the difference in my looting. Instead of having to click discard or an awkward key binding, I just hover my cursor over the item I want to discard and I press my mouse button. Another piece of advice is while you're learning what items are good and not good, you're going to want to take your time looting. Don't loot in the open where you killed the player. Put their loot in a backpack and reposition to a safer location to go through the loot. The last but equally as important tip is mindset. Tarkov is a very unique game and there's not many other games like it. It's a learning curve for sure, and most of the time it's going to be very unforgiving. You're going to have days where you're just not having fun, and those are the days you should take a break and come back to the game when you're not frustrated and have a fresh start. A good mindset is really not considered to be important, but it is very crucial to performing well at anything, especially Tarkov. And yeah, that's all I got. Those were my top 5 tips that I would tell to a person who just downloaded Tarkov and is about to start their journey. I appreciate it if you made it this far in the video and watched all the way to the end. Again, consider dropping a like and subscribing if you enjoyed the content. Leave a comment and show some love. Leave suggestions for videos. I'm always open for ideas. But with all that being said, good luck in your raids, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.